rawpeople.com. I'm here at the Raw Spirit Festival East, having a wonderful time. This is day number 2, and I'm here with the beautiful Amy Rachelle. She's with Purely Raw, and at the last Raw Spirit Festival, I had an opportunity to meet and get to know Amy, and we did an interview on her program and her thoughts on transitioning into the raw food lifestyle, not just about the food, but on really all levels of your being, and emotionally, physically, spiritually. How do you transition? And if you're interested in that basic part 1 interview we did, I encourage you to go to rawpeople.com radio and go to the initial interview that I did with Amy. And I was thrilled that Amy was here at the 2nd Raw Spirit Festival of the summer, because I definitely wanted to do a follow-up interview with her. She has quickly become my favorite person to interview, and you will see why in just a moment. She is full of personal power, integrity, and a wonderful message. So Amy, thank you for giving us your time again, and it's great to see you here and connect with you and just be around you. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Katie. I feel the same way. When I see Katie coming, I smile. As she's coming, I'm probably already talking about her, actually. It just happened.
It's kind of like a mutual thing. So anyway, you come to these festivals, you start making friends and connecting with like-minded people, and it's really encouraging. So, as you know, I think I've told you before that our mission at rawpeople.com is to educate, inspire, and support those transitioning and maintaining the raw food lifestyle. And we did talk about transition issues the last time that we talked, and I know that you are also full of wonderful messages of inspiration and how to help people not only make a transition on a personal level and on a collective level, but then what do we do to maintain this? And something that we were talking about before this started was what does transition mean at this time with the economy changing and how people are interacting with themselves as an individual, and then, you know, collectively, are they getting support, are they isolating, and things like that. So I would like you to, if you would, address some ideas on inspiration at this time in our lives and what's going on, and then we'll get into some specific questions about that as we go on.
Okay, sounds great, Katie. Well, first off, I know that a lot of people are going through difficult times right now with major shifts in the economy, in society, and how that personally, professionally affects people. So I really like to speak to that place that people are experiencing in this time of massive change. So in my perception, in a time of change, how do we deal with that? I say transform. If the times say change, transform. And if we are not willing to transform, change form, in other words, go with what is happening, change. We can deny change, deny transformation, and it will pulverize us because it's happening anyway. And so there are many of us who have been going through this for a long time on a personal basis and became very inspired by what's on the other side of that, and now in these times hold a very strong space to help other people come into knowing there is another side. So in order to make it to this other side, it's important to, I feel, take note and reflection of where one is. It's kind of like taking inventory of one's own personal account, and energetically that means what's going on in your life, how are you feeling, what's going on in your relationships, your livelihood, where you live, how you think, what's going on with you. And if you have recently lost your job, or a breakup in a relationship, or something, a death in your family, something that is really catastrophic for you, one of the most important things that we can do is go with the change that is occurring, accept personal responsibility for that, and transform. And it's okay. If I could say to anyone, you're all right. You just don't have the proper information probably, or support, in order to bridge the gaps. Because it is a gap, and in that gap you feel alone, you feel isolated, confused, suffer. We suffer in this place.
You know, if I could pause for just a moment, I wanted to comment on something you're saying. I love this conversation because, as you know, I'm a marriage and family therapist.
Yes.
And I am seeing on a weekly basis people flooding into our clinic with depression and feeling suicidal, feeling lost, because they've lost their job or their home, and their identity was tied up in these external things. So I'm not an engineer anymore, or I can't find a job as an engineer, therefore I'm not a worthwhile person, and I'm not providing for my family the way that I expected, and therefore I can't feel good as a man.
Yes.
Or as a single mother. And so I am just seeing this depression, and one of the things I know about anxiety and depression is that if we avoid, it gets worse.
Right.
And so I love what you're saying about finding a way to sit with what's going on and not veer from it, not use drugs, alcohol, food, you know, the other gambling, what the other things that we can do to avoid, but to be with the experience, to learn how to deal with these feelings and our thoughts around it, and see this as an opportunity. Yesterday you did a panel and someone was talking about problems, and you said, see a problem as an opportunity. And I see that this is a time in our lives for wonderful opportunities to grow and maybe to get to places within ourselves we would not have gotten to had this not happened.
Yes, Katie. Yes.
So how does someone pause and be with themselves, and maybe they've even gone through raw food lifestyle changes, but now they're at risk of slipping because I'm sad, I want to eat, or I want to forget that lifestyle was for when I was a happy person.
Well, thank you for that, you know, and I really appreciate your experience and what you are firsthand practically seeing with people coming into your clinic, because this is the reality of what we're dealing with humanity all over the globe, not just here in the U.S. I work in Europe as well. I see it very much there. Very much this is a phenomenon of first world people. The countries I travel in with third world people aren't suffering to the degree that we are here in the first world, because we are very attached to what you talked about, our identities. I am this, I am an engineer, I am a that. And if I do not fulfill these expectations that I place upon myself, I have no identity, and therefore I have no worth. And without self-worth, we're destroyed. And if we see that only as a problem, and we don't see that as a blessed opportunity and take responsibility and transform that, then we get stuck there, and that's the depression you spoke of. So I feel the primary number one thing is willingness. How willing are you? Are you willing? Because if you're not willing, anyone else could send you, like I sent you a boat, I sent you a plane. But each person, you are not a victim. Okay, no one's a victim here. This is the state of what we, not you, are dealing with, what we are dealing with. All of us. Let's help each other. But we can only be helped if I'm willing. So number one is willingness, okay? I'm willing. And number two, it's nobody else's fault. It's not my company's fault for firing me, or my mate's fault for losing interest or leaving me. This is my life. This is my responsibility. It's not between me and my job. It's not between me and my mate. It's between me and that which created me. So let me accept responsibility for that, and that means my health, my mental health, and my physical health. Let me begin there. So from willingness to self-responsibility.
Love it.
All things are possible. And then the very next crucial factor, number three, willingness to responsibility to number three, is support.
Yeah.
You need help, okay? This is not something we do by ourselves. People come into your clinic because they need your help. People come to me because they need help. And those are the people that I can really work with. The people that don't respond do not accept responsibility. The root word of responsibility is respond.